if you've ever had a dog that has been, maybe they've been training really well, they've been learning things, you know, you've been teaching them a new trick and they've really picked it up and they've done great, all of a sudden their brain just seems to switch off and they've forgotten everything you've just taught them, and not just the stuff from today, just everything they've ever learnt. Maybe you get a dog that's suddenly become frustrated or has suddenly become grumpy, or, you know, something like that. If this is the case, then it might be the case that your dog has suffering from a lack of willpower. Dogs are wake up every morning with a certain amount of willpower, and once they've used it up, then they need to replenish it. When they've run out of willpower, then that makes them grumpy, it can make them reactive, it can make them anxious and stressed, and it can make them do silly things. And it can also mean that they just don't have the strength to carry on with their training anymore. This is not the same as overwhelm. So overwhelm happens when lots of things are happening around your dog, lots of experiences, and they're quite passive then. So the stuff is happening around your dog there. People are coming to the house, they're walking past the house. Maybe you're on a walk and they're trying to enjoy their walk, but a dog comes by and that upsets them, or maybe they get surprised by something, new smells, making new friends, positive things, negative things. It's all experiences. The more they get of those, then eventually their brain gets clogged up and then they go into overwhelm and they can become reactive. But that's very passive. Willpower happens when your dog is concentrating on something and they're trying to achieve something. So this could be a long training session. So maybe you're trying to get them to do a sit stay, or maybe you're trying to get them to ignore something and pay attention to you. This often happens when we try and overtrain dogs. It can happen in training classes when there aren't enough breaks. But anytime your dog is resisting an urge, they are using up their stock of willpower. I see this happening a lot in the dog groomers, for example. They're very well handled and they don't really love being groomed. A lot of dogs, they don't like being washed and dried and being handled, lifting this part and brushing this. So the whole time they're just, you know, concentrating on staying calm and trying not to get too anxious and just waiting until it's been over and done with. Depending on your dog, they might actually experience a reduction of willpower when you have a visitor over, for example. Maybe they're used to having their afternoon nap or going for a walk or doing something else, and now you've got a visitor and they're having to behave differently. So it's not just about resisting urges, it's about changing your own normal behavior. It's about ignoring things, it's about concentration, doing anything differently. So once we have used up all of our willpower, then that's when you become reactive. And we know ourselves, we only have a certain amount of willpower too. You know, you can spend all day long trying to keep calm and be good and behave at work, and then at the end of the day, you finally get home, your willpower is gone and you can't possibly resist that ice cream or that chocolate or that drink or cigarette or whatever it is that you've been trying to not do. You know, if it's whatever, veganuary, you know, maybe by the end of the day you just go, I can't be bothered with this, I just want to have some cheese. Whatever it is, you know, when your willpower's run out, then it's run out. So how do you solve this problem? Well, you can take regular breaks, rewarding breaks, fun games, things like that can allow your dog to restock their willpower. Actually playing a really fun game with loads of treats and rewards is probably the best way to restock willpower, but having a nap could do the same thing. Probably not wise in the middle of a training class to take a little nap, but you could take them to the side and get them to play some little spinny games or chase me games, that kind of stuff, you know, and add in plenty of rewards and you be really into that game too. That is the best way to replenish your willpower, so you can go back to a task that you need to complete, and you'll see that your dog will have a much better frame of mind. Often when I'm out training with dogs, if we've been doing a lot of work and your dog's been doing really, really well, I'll say, let's go and take a sniffy break, and we'll go and sniff in some grass, we'll have some treats, we'll play a little fun game. If I'm working with a dog that's particularly anxious about strange people, then I might suggest that you take your dog somewhere where they're quite comfortable, maybe put them out into the back garden and give them some toys to play with, or play with them yourself, so that they have a time to just restock their willpower, feel better, have a break, unwind, and then they can come back, and that actually then will make the most of that time together, and that training will have much bigger impact. Hope that makes sense. Take care for now. Bye bye.